When you're cooking up a show or movie for Netflix, there's a guideline to follow. They've got rules, and it's all about making sure that when you play something on Netflix, you're diving into a visual feast. Now, Netflix doesn't just let any camera record for their platform. They've got a stamp of approval. It's a big deal for camera brands and filmmakers because Netflix is known for big-budget projects. But hey, that doesn't mean the cameras they approve are out of reach for everyday filmmakers. We've compiled a list of 5 Netflix-approved cameras that strike a balance between meeting Netflix's standards and being budget-friendly. This way, indie filmmakers can access quality equipment without breaking the bank. First up, we have the URSA Mini 4.6K. It gives you the best of both worlds, great visual quality and strong ergonomics. While this camera too has been followed by bigger and better iterations like the URSA Mini Pro, G2, 12K, and so on, the original URSA Mini 4.6K is still a very capable and powerful cinema camera. Like the Sony FS7 though, the camera can only be found on the used market in the $2,000 to $4,000 price range. The camera body is loaded with manual controls. It is just heavy enough to operate handheld without a rig, and the image quality is truly gorgeous. It has a super 35mm sensor and comes in both EF and PL mount, making it extremely versatile and compatible with a wide array of lenses. It does have its shortcomings too. For instance, it struggles in low light and occasionally can exhibit fixed pattern noise when underexposed. But all in all, it offers a ton of bang for your buck. And if you know how to work around its issues, it can hold its own against much more expensive cinema cameras. Next on our list, Lumix BGH1. It is the cheapest camera approved by Netflix. But you'll need to buy some extra stuff like a cage or rig and an external monitor to make it a proper A camera for real projects. That might cost you an extra $500 to $1,000 or even more, depending on how you set it up. Still, it's a budget-friendly option. Think of the BGH1 as a Lumix GH5 in a different shape, made specifically for video pros. It's loaded with cool features like dual native ISO, internal 4x2x2 recording, SDI output, and remote control capabilities. It's like a Swiss Army knife for filmmakers. Now, it has a micro Four Thirds sensor, which might not be the hottest choice for everyone. But some filmmakers like it because you can pair it with lots of different lenses. And if you want a bigger sensor look, you can use speed boosters. I was a bit surprised to see this camera on Netflix's approved list because none of the other Lumix GH cameras made it. Honestly, a GH5 or another Lumix GH would be an easier choice for filmmakers, just because of the way they're shaped. The boxy design of the BGH1 is cool, but most filmmakers use these cameras on drones, gimbals, or as backup cameras, not as the main one. Still, it's nice that it made the list. Because despite its quirks, the BGH1 is a strong and affordable camera. Next, the Sony FX3. It is the smallest in their cinema line, priced at $3,899. It's a solid choice for solo shooters aiming for a cinematic look. What makes it stand out is its affordability as the most budget-friendly full-frame option on this list. It boasts a 12-megapixel CMOS sensor known for performing exceptionally well in low-light conditions, capturing a dynamic range of 15+ stops. This model introduces Sony's S-Cinetone profile to more consumer-friendly cameras. It handles 4K up to 120 pixel and 10-bit 4x2x2 with full pixel readout, providing excellent video quality. The advanced autofocus, including real-time tracking and IAF, adds to its appeal. For audio, it packs a punch with a removable XLR handle, making the camera more user-friendly. A built-in fan ensures the camera stays cool during long shooting days. Handheld shooters will appreciate the 5-axis in-body image stabilization, smoothing out footage for a polished result. The Canon EOS C70 is a bit fancier, costing $5,499. It's a step up into serious cinema camera territory. While cheaper, smaller mirrorless models can deliver impressive video quality. When you step up your game and demand more from the operational side, the design of a cinema camera becomes crucial, almost as vital as having the right lens. This Canon camera is special. It's the first one to use the RF mount, with a design that's like a DSLR or mirrorless camera but packs in a bunch of cinema features. It's super light at just 2.6 pounds, so it's easy to stick on a gimbal. It equips a super 35mm dual gain output sensor, handling 4K up to 120 frames per second. The sensor can do up to 16 stops and records in 10-bit 4x2x2 internally to SD cards. Plus, it's got built-in ND filters, a big upgrade from the other cameras we talked about. Okay, lastly, let's talk about the Red Komodo 6K, coming in at $5,999. It's a surprisingly affordable cinema camera from Red, offering some unique features that set it apart. This camera is tiny but packs a bunch of features. It can internally record in 6K RAW at up to 60 frames per second, boasting over 16 stops of dynamic range. It uses the Canon RF mount, so you can use adapters to try out a bunch of different lenses. Plus, it's got a small boxy shape that you can customize. The big deal here is that it shoots in red code RAW, giving you tons of flexibility in post-production. It rocks a super 35mm sensor with a global shutter, which is rare and gets rid of those annoying rolling shutter effects. Simply put, it's a Red camera that indie filmmakers can actually afford. Although Netflix offers a diverse range of approved cameras, sometimes you gotta go off the list, especially for cool shots like using drones or crash cams. Netflix is cool with it. They give you a 10% allowance for runtime. So you can use smaller cameras like DJI's, GoPros, or the Phantom Flex 4K for limited shots. But even when you're breaking the rules a bit, there are still some tips and rules you gotta remember. Don't forget to check them out first. If you enjoyed this video, support us by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Stay tuned for more awesome content coming your way.